Hello again, my friend.
What's going on, man?
Man, I guess this is episode 8.
You already know.
Literally, with Ken and Karl.
Hulk smash.
That's right.
That's right, man.
That's right. You're decked out in some gear.
Well, hey, man, last week, on the last podcast, which you guys will see, from last week, it was my birthday. I got a little bit older.
Happy birthday.
And thank you again, which pretty much that day is really not my day because that was the day when you look on TV and remember Michael Jackson, he passed on this day, stole all my thunder.
Oh, man, that's tragic.
Here's one even better. My sister, her birthday is February 11th, the day that Whitney Houston died.
Man, that's rough.
So our birthdays have turned pretty shitty.
Two icons. That
two
is
icons rough. With drugs involved. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Erica's birthday is the day before Hitler's, so she missed that by a day.
Yeah. So that explains a lot. Yeah.
What do you mean that explains a lot?
Explains a lot.
No. Wait, no. You have to explain what you mean by explains a lot.
They're partly crazy. Yeah.
You think my wife is partly crazy because she was born a day before
and
years after Hitler?
Yeah, that's right.
She is crazy for a whole other set of reasons.
Something's in the air. Something is in the air.
Well, that's because I farted.
Okay, now we understand. Jesus Christ.
So that's how we're starting the podcast out today.
Pretty much.
Good job.
Say what we feel and feel what we say.
That's right.
That's right. We are here to say that.
We are unequivocally us.
That's it. I'm not going to change for anybody. Like I said, if I say something about somebody, I said it, I meant it. Whatever, I will say it. I will say how I feel.
Including Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka.
You
massacred that dude last week.
You damn right. I'm thinking about massacring a freaking Disney movie every week from here on out.
We could do it.
I'm telling you, we could do it. It needs to be done. People need to wake up and smell the roses like, hey, this was your childhood. You need to think about this shit. This was your childhood. Think about it. Matter of fact, we'll just shit on another one that's not even Disney. We'll do one better. Popeye. Robin Williams, he was the one who played Popeye, right?
Yeah, in the televised version, yeah, or the movie version, yeah.
Right. The whole time
that movie was terrible.
It was terrible, right?
Yeah,
but at the same time,
it was a bad movie.
People was putting Pluto to be the one who was the bad guy, right?
Oh no, they were both deplorable.
Yeah. But who Pluto was working for? Popeye's dad.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? Popeye's dad was playing both sides the whole time.
Oh man, you're bringing it back to Palpatine.
You damn right I am. This is Palpatine. This is Snipe Harry Potter. God damn it, this is your government.
Oh,
COVID?
Here we go again.
COVID?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in general, you get what I'm saying. And then Pluto, and that's the reason why Pluto's going. It's not easy being me. Master of me own destiny. Yeah, master what? Yeah, because you working between beating up everybody and getting taxes, and then at the same time trying to maintain your house. This is what people do every day for a living in America.
It's the struggle.
It is the struggle. The struggle is real. And just like the other guy who would struggle to get some money and try to gladly pay everybody on Tuesday for a burger he wanted today. Wimpy, yeah. Wimpy, his name should have been Shitty because he had a shitty job paying people back.
That was like the trickle-down burger effect.
Yeah, the trickle-down burger effect made him lazy as shit.
Yeah, it did.
All it did was, I'll pay you back on Tuesday.
Did you ever, either Tuesday never came around or you never got to see Tuesday?
Tuesday
I have not seen
never
him pay
came
one
around.
Hamburger back at all.
And it was 5 cents, like literally 5 cents, like a nickel. There you go, boom, go get your burger.
Yeah, but you know what you had to do for a nickel back then? I'm just telling you.
I don't know. Maybe,
you would lose your innocence.
Oh, man. And that goes back to feeling fingery.
I'm having fun titling these.
Oh, God.
and really, like, a couple of them, I had noticed, like, during the episode, as something would happen, I'd go, oh, well, shit, that's the name. And then sometimes it's going through the edit process, and as we're watching it, and then there's like this piece that'll come up, and it's like
it hits you,
all
man.
Right, I'm an asshole. That's the episode.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like that's how we come up with it. Like everything that we do and say is just we hit the camera, we go in, and we just give it to you, and that's it.
Yeah, and this is as bare bones a setup, not necessarily equipment wise, but just as far as what you can do now with technology. Man, we are literally just two of us. We do everything. Set the cameras up, get the lighting, set the props, which I have a lot of fun doing. Maybe a little too much fun for a 47-year-old, but fuck it, I don't care.
I don't care. I mean, this is what this is a representation of personality on the table. This is what you get. I mean, at the same time,
I put a lot of thought into it. Yeah. Like, you got Vader over your shoulder,
my dude. And
I told you I had that large Vader.
Yeah,
he was going to be when we get. So I guess I should explain we're not in the spare bedroom where we've done the first 7 episodes.
That's right.
And we're not in our new studio yet, but we are down in my basement, and this is actually my wife's art studio. So the walls are pretty bare so that she can do painting and throw canvases up on the wall and what have you. Painting wise, that's actually one of hers that she did for me a few years ago.
Yes. Yeah. I said it looks like she could have just drew the whole movie, Cool World, with Kim Basinger in it, like, and Brad Pitt, when he was, up and coming,
Yep, definitely.
It looks just like Joker could step out and go right there into that movie and just no problem, and they'll be like, run the camera, just keep drawing.
Yeah, she's amazingly talented, and she does a lot of different type of stuff. She makes dolls, she sculpts, she does installation art, painting. Her sketchbooks are ridiculous.
And after having all that great talent, she managed to marry your shitty ginger beard fuck ass.
What can I say?
God damn it.
I got it.
Damn it. I think she was. Hey, I think you slid a little. You got it? You got it? I think you slid a little roofie in there and you started feeling.
Hey, I didn't Cosby anybody, okay?
You sure you didn't?
I did not Cosby her or anyone.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Because one day when you're like up the upstairs and she comes out here, she's gonna come. It happened to me. He was feeling fingery.
I'm not going to promise anything. I just, up to this point, I know I haven't.
Okay, well.
So, unless, of course, I got roofied and then roofied her in the process, which I don't know if that's ever been recorded of happening.
Hey, I mean, love conquers all, man. That's what they say. Love conquers all, and a couple.
And when you're feeling fingery. All right, we're gonna have to strike that. We're gonna get kind of a reputation. I don't. No,
it's just a joke.
No, sir. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hey, man. I mean, when two people have a chance to meet and find a mutual ground and then honestly build something on it, you got to go for it,
Yeah, we've always been incredibly supportive of each other in anything that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, like I was showing you the guitar I built.
Yeah.
And it's something I probably would have never attempted had I not had her going, oh yeah, you should definitely do that. I didn't start playing drums until I was 28.
Wow.
And I had wanted to ever since I was a kid, but didn't know that I had any ability to. In school, I was given a sax.
Man.
And I wasn't really into it. My stepmother actually got me piano lessons, and in hindsight, she was really smart to do so. I wish I had taken them seriously.
Yeah.
Because, knowing some music now, piano and that whole kind of keyboard is this really great transition between so many instruments.
Yeah.
Because you're playing a melody, but you're also playing a bass line.
Yeah.
It's a percussive instrument. It's hammer on strings and you know, so it's, it has all of these elements from all these different instruments. And if you can learn that and then adapt it, you can kind of branch that out into guitar, into bass, into drums, into, it's really cool. But when Eric and I were together, and we were living in an apartment above these two guys that were doing heating and AC, Steve and Matt. And Matt, we all know as Unks Mo. He's the dude.
Okay.
And he was this amazing drummer. And he was a heavy metal drummer that was playing in a blues band. Mm. And we were hanging out. Erica was she was going to the Atlanta College of Art. And so I had a lot of time to kill. And we were hanging out listening to I think it was like Henry Rollins or something.
Oh, man.
And there was a little drum thing, and I kind of wrapped it out on the table, and Matt said, "Oh, do you play?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, I'm a drummer," and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "You should, come hang out, check out my band practice. I'm a heavy metal drummer, but, I'm in a blues band." I said, "Okay, cool." So I go out to this guy Kip's house, and Kip was a super cool dude.
Okay.
They had this band, the Dixie Flyers, and it was just kind of a southern kind of blues band, and they just did a lot of covers and then some original stuff that they wrote. And they'd play, local bars and festivals and stuff like that, right? And so I go out to their practice, and I'm watching Matt, and I'm sitting on the floor with a set of drumsticks beside him, and I'm kind of mimicking what he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. And they take a break, and he goes, hop on. So I sit there, and I didn't really, coordinating all four is kind of weird, right? So he's like, "Okay, so just get, a 1, 2, 3, 4 with your hand, and just count it. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Mm-hmm. Now you've got that established. On the 1 and the I want you to variate. So I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm doing this, right?" And he goes, "That's a 4 count. You're doing a 4 count drum beat." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "So try to throw a roll in. Boo, do, 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 do." And he's like, "Right. Now make sure you hit that kick when you hit the cymbal." And I'm like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, Kip starts playing this little blues thing on the guitar to this really simple 4 count.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, goosebumps. All the hair on my arms is standing up. And I'm like, literally the coolest shit I had ever done up to that point.
Right.
Went home that night, set up pillows on my couch, threw Tool on, and just started beating the shit. And I realized that I've been air drumming for years. And so, although it's not the same, especially if you don't know what you're doing, like when I air drum now, I air drum fairly accurate. I kind of imagine a kit in front of me. But still, there was something to kind of, I had already been listening to these songs from a drummer's perspective. I could listen to these songs and know what the drum beats were and when the rolls and the fills and stuff were supposed to come in, not necessarily how to do them. But I would just beat the shit out of my couch. And then I'd go to Guitar Center, and I'd, sit down at a drum set at a Guitar Center.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Guitar Center. They let you go in there. They let you play.
And when Eric and I got married, later that year, that was she bought me my drum set. That was my wedding present.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And she was always like, "Yeah, you should definitely keep doing it." So yeah, I don't know, she's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That was a long story to say that my wife kicks ass.
And that's just to sum it up right there.
Yeah.
But hey, man, I mean, that's what it is, man. You got a good wife, man.
So yeah, she did this really cool painting, and I wanted to make sure it got on. And then my niece just got me this cool little Ghostbusters collectible Playmobil set, so I had to put it up on the table. Don't think we've had Black Panther on the table yet.
Okay, Black Panther, my dude. Another movie we can talk about.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Okay, everybody's like, "Oh, it's a great movie." Okay, cool. I'm all for all black cast, this, that, and the third. Cool, no problem. But let's talk about what really happened. If you watch this movie, Black Panther got his ass whooped the whole movie. Think about it. Go back and watch it. And you can be like, you know what? He was right. He got his ass whooped the whole movie.
So I'm gonna agree that he was not as powerful as the character should have been.
Okay.
I'll make the excuse that he was still fairly young in that role of the Black Panther. It's a lame excuse. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I do have a preference in superhero movies and even action movies that it always helps me suspend disbelief when it's more believable. So when you're going through a fight, you know, I want to see it be kind of realistic. I want to see you take some hits.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I get that.
You know, Bruce Lee used to take some shots.
Yeah, he used to take some shots. Yeah, and you know,
a little claw to the face, claw to the chest.
Yeah, and then he like, you know, he'll, you know, then he'd be ready to whoop ass. Wow,
That's
you know,
right.
you know. And after that, we've had nothing but watered down Liu Kang's. I mean, pretty much watered down Bruce Lee's, Liu Kang, freaking Jet Li, freaking.
You know,
and Jet Li is awesome, but everybody's still not Bruce, you know?
So I've got like 38 Kung Fu movies upstairs, right?
Okay.
And because I told you I have a severe love of bad Kung Fu movies. And half of them star Bruce Lee. But of course, it's always spelled differently. So, like, they'll spell it in all these different ways, and these guys don't generally look anything like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, they put the L-I and...
Yeah. You know, or L-E.
Yeah. That's Bruce... That is truly...
Bruce
yeah. That is truly the watered-down version. That is like going to Walmart and saying, hey, there's Uncle Ben's rice, but... There's this great value rice right next to it. That's what he's talking about. It's not the best.
But they're such like incredible movies though in how bad they are. And most of them have like the same plot. So if you're watching any of these movies, it's generally that there's some school of kung fu,
of course,
in this town that is harassing the good people of this village.
It's always like that, ain't it?
And somebody gets involved. In a lot of the ones that I watch, there's always like a young kid that's really good at kung fu too.
Yeah.
And so he ends up getting involved, and then to save him, your stud kind of guy, the lead actor, comes in, and what kills me is, I guess because of the time period with the overdubbing.
Oh man!
What they were getting a lot of at that time on television was like Howard Cosell on ABC, and that kind of speech pattern was more common. So it's a lot of, so you think you're tough? I'll kill you and your whole family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then, well, you think you're tough?
Yeah.
I go to this school.
Yeah. I just, certain movies you look back and it's just like, oh God, that was crummy.
And then there's always some uncle. There's never anyone's father, but there's always an uncle.
Yeah.
And the uncle knows some, like sleeping fist.
Yeah, he knows some kind of power move is going, like, you must learn this.
I've watched one that was cooking kung fu. And this dude's out there, like, he's got like this big chain that he whips around this huge pot, and he starts dragging the pot, using all his muscles, and as he's doing it, the uncle's yelling out, shark fin soup, and he would like drop the chain and do this whole like, and then he'd pick the chain back up and then have to keep going with the. Oh, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah, I can honestly say those movies. You look back and go, in the moment they were cool, but thank God we've come a long way. And that it's not saying as Hollywood, but the whole world, in far as in filming movies, The whole world, thank you.
I don't know. Like you saw Kung Pao, right?
It's been a long time.
But you saw it. Okay. The
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah, it's been
doing the Matrix.
Yeah, it's been.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that movie was Steve Odenkirk, I think it is. Steve Odenkirk.
It could be because I'm not trying to.
Not the Better Call Saul guy.
Yeah.
That's Bob Odenkirk. But what he did was he bought the rights to one of those old kung fu movies. And they used a lot of shots from the old kung fu movie, but changed the overdubbing. And then what they did was they used a face swap technology to put his face on the lead character's face. And then there was a good bit of scenes that they either CGI filmed or they actually filmed with the, him in it. And he had like worked out and got all ripped and shit for that whole so he could rip the shirt off and all that kind of shit. The evil tonguey and dude, but that was basically a modern. And then there what was that other one? That had the old lady, the landlord, always smoking a cigarette in her hair and rollers.
Oh God!
And she would fuck people up.
I can't think of the name of it. I can't think of the name of it for nothing.
But yeah, there's some good new ones coming out too.
I'll tell you what's a classic. What I seen.
Okay.
I'll tell you, there's always gonna be something. Always gonna be fire. Yeah, it wasn't like kung fu, but guess what? It still had karate in it, and that is Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sure enough,
the Shogun of Harlem.
That's right.
He'd be like, "Yeah, Leroy, I got something for your ass in these hands." I was like, "Shit, you finna get your ass whooped."
Didn't they have like the glowing hands?
Had the
and
glow.
Shit?
Like, don't get me wrong. Don't
some
get me
bad
wrong.
Shit.
It's some bad shit, but that was kind of corny in a way. But it still worked. But Show Enough had some of the most gangsters lines. Like, I would say some shit like that to a female. Just walk up to her, don't even know her. Who's the master?
Why is it always you being so aggressive to women, man?
You say, Show Enough.
She gonna say, fuck you.
You know what? I'm gonna tell her, who's the master? You say.
You know who I want you to say that to?
Who do you want me to say it to? Who?
Do I have to say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
You want me to say it so that you can say that you didn't say it.
Say it.
But you know who I'm talking about.
You know I will do it just because you're saying that now. Next time I'm going to make sure I go and say it.
Will you?
Yeah.
I don't think you will.
And you're going to get me cussed out.
You hid from her for a week and a half.
I didn't.
After the cookie incident.
I did not hit from her.
With the crumbs all falling down the side of her mouth.
I simply came in after she left work. Hey, we get off at different times. Hey, that's what it was. I was getting off work late. Hey, couldn't catch it, But
let's see how it is.
Anyway.
Yep.
The Shogun.
The Shogun
of Harlem. Yeah.
That was a good movie.
It was decent. It was decent. I mean, you had Vanity in there, and she was just running around. I mean, she wasn't like that. Was like one of the films, like only one of the films where she wasn't like home or anything like that. But either way,
I like those films.
Yeah.
What's wrong with those films?
Vanity was butt wild back in her day. When she had passed and Prince found out, he performed like tribute to her. He played Little Red Corvette. So that lets you know. She was buck wild back in her day.
Sorry, I had to pause for some hazy nut.
Yeah, I understand. Hazelnut, we do another shout out again?
I got that prairie dog, dude. It was really good.
Q, I'm telling you, you done hit a gold mine, man. Once again, y'all need to go to www.hazynut.com.
I keep creating a problem for myself because I keep trying to improve graphics. So I had to improve the hazynut.com graphic from the last time. Now I'm going to have to step it up again.
Yeah, once again, you can go right here, this website, right now. Hazynut.com. And since we're just up here advertising,
yeah.
I mean, if you guys
shout out.
ever had like you got animals, you got a cat, dog, and some days it's like, man, I can't get off in time to just go to my, my local veterinarian. If you are in the Atlanta area, you can go to www.royalpawsandpurrs.com. And you can go there and they have a mobile veterinarian, and this is like high maintenance. They will come to you you know, and to your cat or dog, and pretty much give them the works. You know, but at the same time, it fits around your schedule, you know, because once again, some people, they have animals that just don't like coming into a setting, you know, and just like, oh my God, like your dog freaks out.
I'm going to get that business card number from you.
You definitely need to do that. You need to do that. The website, once again, is www.royalpawsandpurrs.com. And even give them a call at 678-689-4005.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. No, I seriously could use that because
it's in the Atlanta area. It's in the Atlanta area.
Tango's a handful.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. A lot of people, you know, they have to call out or they have to schedule around their off day, you know, to get their dog checked up or get the dog, you know, shots, anything that is needed. But you can't do it because the fact that you're always at work. And that's the reason why you can go to this website. You can give them a call. You can, you know, work something out to where it fits you and at the same time benefits your animal. And they won't be peeing all over somebody else's floor. I'm just saying. But seriously, check them out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, so I switched out the arc reactor. I doubt anyone's really going to be able to notice because they were both the same.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting Dwight his.
Yeah, I seen the glass and yeah, it looks just like the movie.
In the case, it looks great.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool prop. I really dig it, but the case really finishes it out.
Yeah.
You know, having the proof Tony Stark has a heart.
Yeah.
It really came out great, and he was super excited about it.
I love you 3000. Yeah. That's right. He, like I said, he saved the world. A lot of people don't want to admit that he did. But before him, it was Flash Gordon, quarterback of the New York Jets. That's right.
All right.
That's right. Death to Ming. Shit.
Wow. Okay.
There's somebody is like 70 years old. Hey, remember that movie? You know, a lot of people are like, it was god awful. Mm-hmm. But either way.
I don't know if you can see him over my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
I brought Chef out.
Hey, Chef, you already know, Yeah. Chef was my dude, you know. And
I'm gonna make love to you, woman. Gonna lay it down by the fire.
Rest in peace, Isaac Hayes,
and
man.
Caress your heavenly body.
And he would always do it with the hands and be sitting up there like, come on, man. But I do like the fact of what they did, though. I mean, once he passed, they didn't try to do like other, you know, shows do and try to fill the character with somebody else.
No, actually, he had actually left the show of his own accord. Mm-hmm. He was into Scientology. Yeah. And South Park did an episode on Scientology, and he said, if you do this episode, I'm walking.
He's done.
And, I mean, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, no shame.
Oh, yeah, they're going to do it.
They're going to do what they got to do.
They're going to do it.
And that show, I mean, I hate it for Isaac, but
yeah,
you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, I like
but he was a great character. I loved him as a character.
Yeah, I like the fact that they, you know, they respectfully say, you know what, he's gone. Let's kill the character.
Suck on my chocolate, salty balls. Put them in your mouth and suck them.
Oh my God! And what's so bad about it? The kids will always come to him for advice, and it's like Jesus. And he gives them some.
And the advice would go off the rails.
He'd go off the rails every fucking time and end up singing and shit. Mm-hmm. But either way, it was great. And speaking of which, the voice industry, I guess, you know, far as in does the characters and everything like that, you got a lot of people stepping down now and not playing the characters, you know, of a minority, like even in The Simpsons, even especially Family Guy, the guy who plays Cleveland, like he's stepping out. Like
I saw his Twitter post.
Yeah, and honestly, I understand why you're stepping down, but I mean, for me, it's like,
I think it's unfortunate, but understandable. You know, it's in those cases, it's actors portraying another race,
right? And
you know, there's a lot of things happening, kind of retroactively cancel culture style, like you know, the blackface stuff that's come up, and things of that nature, and we want to hold people accountable to today's standard from something that happened 10 years ago. It can't work that way.
Right.
But in the same regard, even with current stuff like this, like, we kind of take things too far. And from the actor's standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
if you wait until somebody is offended and has an issue with it, and then it becomes part of the narrative that you're part of what's wrong,
Right.
then it's too late at that point. Whereas if you're really sensitive, and as an actor, I think this isn't coming from a ridiculous overreach. I think it's an actor just trying to be very sensitive and being very fortunate to play a role that he had a lot of fun with, and a lot of people enjoyed, and as far as I know has never really offended anyone.
Yeah.
But this is an actor, I think, that's just trying to kind of do something and get out in front of something and say, look, I don't want this to ever be a problem. So I don't hate them for it.
Yeah, I don't hate them for it, but I'm like, for me at this time right now, all I want from my point of view of what's going on, we just want equality and our respect. That's it. But when it comes to like The Simpsons, something that you've been watching all your life, and then at the same time,
Hank Azaria, I love that dude.
And then like the guy who does Homer, he does Grandpa, he does Groundskeeper Willie. He does he does so many of the voices on there. I mean, and can you imagine?
That's Stan Castaneda.
Yeah, I couldn't think his
name.
And
then Hank Azaria does like 50 different voices on that show as well. Apu.
Yeah, man, dude. Water me good. Welcome to the Quickie. My name is Apu.
And that actually several years ago came under fire.
Yeah.
Because someone said it was a poor representation, but I've never seen him like Mo the bartender. They've portrayed as kind of a dummy. Man. You know what I mean? The crank calls and things like that. There are a lot of characters like Burns has always been portrayed as
kind of A.
Right.
Release the hounds. Smithers. Who is that? Release the hounds. He don't care,
But I think Apu was very seldomly ever portrayed as anything negative.
Yeah, he wasn't portrayed as anything negative.
He was one of the few characters that wasn't.
Little Junction.
But there again, like, so my niece is over, and her fiance are staying the week, and she's actually upstairs right now when I went to make coffee. Hazynut.com. That was just strictly to make Q laugh. But she was up there watching a Jeff Dunham special.
Okay.
And I understand his talent. I've never really been a fan of ventriloquism comedy, and I always found it kind of corny. But as I'm watching it, and his characters are very stereotypical characters, the pepper Jose on a stick or whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, so Cleveland's stepping down, but that's still going on?
Yeah.
And I don't know how recent that special is. I don't know if he's still working. I don't know anything about Jeff Dunham. He seems like a really nice guy.
See, the thing about everybody stepping down and doing this is you're kind of going to kill something that you didn't mean to kill. Because from comedy.
I hate to prepare you for this, but there's a lot of stuff that's going to die.
There's going to die.
And part of what scares me, and this is where I lean more Republican than Democrat, on the Democratic side, especially when you go far, far left, right? Antifa. When you start stopping people and telling people that they can't do, it's a really slippery slope.
Yeah.
And part of what makes America great is our freedoms, right?
Right.
So I was thinking the other day, I had heard some chanting, no justice, no peace. And I kept thinking to myself, so what exactly are those terms? Because I work in a corporate world. And for us, a goal can't just be something you say.
Right.
Right. I want to lose 200 pounds.
Right.
Okay. So I can say that, and I can work on losing weight or doing things, right?
Right.
But I'm never going to achieve that goal. Because I weigh 230 pounds. And I can't be 30 pounds.
Right. Your body won't let you.
Okay. So it's an unrealistic goal that I've set for myself. Mm-hmm. If I'm in a corporate setting and I give them that goal, I want to lose 200 pounds, first thing they're going to say is that's an unachievable goal. Rewrite your goal. When you send it back, give us an action plan that's going to tell us how you plan to achieve it.
Right.
What the end result should be. Mm-hmm. How you're going to measure it. Mm-hmm. And is it attainable?
Right.
Okay. So we break these things down. So we have a serious fucking problem in this country with systemic racism.
Right.
And for me, I think it's much more important to figure out how we fix the systems that are in place, the Jim Crow laws, the redlining, the profiling, all of these things that are happening. Okay. To me, that's much more important than stopping some yokel redneck fuckface that happens to say the N-word all the time and fly some stupid flag.
Right.
Now, I'm glad Mississippi just changed their state flag.
Right.
Georgia had done it years ago.
Right.
I think I understand when people talk about heritage, but when we're talking about Confederate monuments, they were set up at a very specific time as a fuck you because they lost the war.
Right.
And so they set these things up as an intentional. So, you know, that's not, it's not a clear cut, oh, well, it's just our heritage. There's something inherently evil in that, the creation of those and why they were done. So, and that's just my personal opinion on it. But I can spend a lot of time convincing or trying to convince somebody that racism is stupid. Racism is idiotic.
Right.
But it's not going to work in most cases because people tend to dig their heels in. Look at social media, for Christ's sake.
Man.
I mean, you know, it's like, well, I think this. You should die.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, you know, I hope you get hit with a sack of nickels and like fucking people just ridiculous fucking shit, right?
Yeah.
So why would I care what Jeb thinks? What I care about is how the banks treat people of color.
This is true.
What I care about is how police treat people of color. What I care about is how people of color are disenfranchised.
Right.
Okay. If I'm worried about those and I fix those, who gives a fuck what Jeb fucking thinks? Let him fly a stupid fucking flag.
Right.
I don't really care.
Right.
Because it's not going to affect me in the same way.
Right. Yeah.
Is that like, and
I mean, I get it.
So like, again, I see the protesting and the rioting as separate things.
Right.
Okay. And I see the protesting as a very positive thing. And the fact that you have Black Lives Matter, not the specific organization, but the movement,
right?
The awareness worldwide. To me, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, like the riots and the protesting, I separate Black Lives Matter as a movement,
right,
and Black Lives Matter as an organization,
right?
Because I think they're very different.
Yeah, it's very different, you know, and especially, you know, now, you know, back then, you know, in the 60s, they had the Black Panthers and how they stood up, you know, and as well, you know, and even a lot of people forget that at one point the Freedom Riders, you know, and that was, it wasn't just black people and Freedom Riders. A lot of people don't know that. That came together to say, hey, we're gonna help people, you know,
and that's the way it has to get done,
and it has to get done that same way, you know. So
my fear is especially when, like, on the last issue we talked about the Tulsa rally.
Oh yeah,
and if we continue to have these kind of things inciting us, if we continue to allow the people that have the most to gain right? Financially, the people that have the most to gain are controlling what's happening right now. And if they continue to, they will create such a divide between not just the classes, but the races specifically.
Of course.
And old slave mentality, if I keep them separated, they can't uprise. Right? So it's important right now for us to work together. And make sure that we're focused on a goal, a very specific goal. This is what we need to change. And if we can change this, it, like dominoes, everything else will start falling. So in a lot of cases, that's the head. Now, that doesn't mean that we just vote Donald Trump out.
It's more than that. It's a lot of people don't understand that. It's always been more than just one particular person. Like, this is years. This is years. You know.
And when I say like we need to get rid of the two-party system, it's not the two that bothers me. I don't care if we get down to two candidates at the end of an election process.
Right.
What I care about is the parties, because if I look at the majority of people, no one is specifically left or right. They're somewhere closer to center. You get extremists, just like in religions, you get extremists.
Right.
But most people are reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of the reason I'm center isn't because all of my views are Republican, but lightly Republican. It means that I have, or Democrat, I have, largely more Democratic points of view. But I also have some things that I tend to be Republican or conservative and liberal, let's say.
Right.
So, my problem with the party system is a lot of times it doesn't matter who you're voting for. You're voting for the party.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a really good example. The Democrats right now have done this country an injustice by throwing out Joe Biden. Okay, no. And I don't mean to be offensive. And again, I am not the best political source. Please don't, watch this and go, oh, well, Karl said this. So that's I'm nobody. I'm a fucking Canadian that lives down here in the States.
It's a podcast, folks. It's just our opinion sitting down. It doesn't make or break what goes on in your everyday life.
But when you throw out Joe Biden, you're basically showing everybody that you don't want somebody that might challenge the system, because Tulsi Gabbard would have been a way better candidate. Female, person of color. I mean, if you're going up against Trump, doesn't that sound like a win-win right now?
Yeah, I'm
okay, but she sits a little closer to center and she's willing to talk.
Right.
Okay? And the Democrats don't want that. Now, if you're going to make the choice to skip Tulsi Gabbard or Andrew Yang, or a number of really good progressive but, intelligent thinking candidates that are going to be harder to control, that are going to be less apt to toe the party line, okay?
Yeah.
Or you throw Biden out there and you hope that the country is so fed up with Trump that you win. But you know what? If you lose, it's 4 more years of Trump. You blame Trump for everything, and you're going to get a Democratic win after his second term. Because after 2 terms for any president, it's always flipped, right?
Yep.
So, and that in itself should tell you the inefficiency of government.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's a pattern to it.
It's a pattern because they're not in it for the people.
No.
They're in it for the pay.
That's it.
And so as long as that's still the root of our issue, we've got to change it. So my proposal isn't an intelligent, thought out one. I haven't made a smart action plan.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I just know that voting Trump out doesn't really solve anything for anybody.
Right.
Because you're voting Joe Biden in, and I don't know that he's really going to have any effect on anything anyway.
Right.
And if Trump were to stay, I don't know that you're not going to get a whole lot better than what it is. You're still going to have somebody that's inciting people intentionally, You know, whether that's the media or whether that's the African American community. I mean, it's just like it's.
I mean, you know what you're going to get if he stays in. You already know. you know what you're going to get. You already know. Hey, this is what we expect for the next 4 years because we already see what he's been now.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and then rather than getting somebody else in that you were like, oh, we don't know where the hell this is going. You know.
I'm just saying we've got to figure out a different way. Just a different way of figuring out who the leader should be. I don't know. It's just so depressing at this moment.
I never really cared for, a particular party, whoever was going to be president. I just cared more so of what are you going to do when you get the job, and how can you help everybody of minority, everyone. Because it's not about benefiting a certain class. It should be benefiting everybody, where everybody has jobs, where everybody can take care of their family, rather than being in a certain percentage that can take care of the family, while the other side, I mean, there's always going to be, I can't fix everything, but at the same time, what can you provide on every level? You might not be able to provide better jobs here, but you can provide better health care here. It's a give and give,
I think you want to know, for me, the best start would be for a group of 8 to 12 people that are incredibly highly respected on both sides, liberal and conservative. Okay. To get together and work on how we adjust our government, like from a root standpoint, like our forefathers did.
Right.
I'm talking like examine what we have, and if you've got an equal number of well-respected, intelligent people from different aspects of society, whether that's the science community, whether that's through, I don't care, but, but get a mix.
Right.
I don't want, 10 corporate leaders.
Yeah. You want some people who's dealing with their people.
There can be a representative from corporate America.
Yeah.
And we try to find the best of those people that can understand that aspect of it. But we've got to figure out how to restructure the government properly, because we can make so many missteps in throwing Band-Aids on things, which is what we generally tend to do as people, right? It's, okay, so here's a problem. Here's an immediate solution. Oh, I didn't see this repercussion. And you're going to have issues with leveling the playing field right off the board.
Right.
And I'll use the Chappelle Show. Remember his sketch on reparations?
Oh, man.
Now, it's the lowest common denominator of what would happen in that case, right? That is not indicative of everybody.
It's not.
But you would have certain cases because people have been conditioned in certain ways, and it's not necessarily race, but economically.
Right.
There would be a lot of people in a lot of different racial categories in a very similar economic category that might handle it the same way.
Right.
And part of the problem is we don't officially know how that would happen. So, I had thought, we've got a growing homeless problem all over the country right now because of people being out of work, COVID, all this stuff, right? And in some cities, like the tent camps and things are just growing and growing. And, if you could afford to give every one of them a house, just there you go. If you could afford to do that, would it benefit them all? How many would take that house and then take care of it and appreciate it and turn their life around? And I'm not saying it's laziness. A lot of our homeless are mentally challenged. A lot of our homeless have self-esteem issues. They have PTSD. They have bipolar disorder. They have any number of issues that should either be treated through a professional or at least through medication.
Right.
And so just getting everybody a house doesn't necessarily solve the problem, right? You've got to look deeper than that. So it's the same with the systemic racism. You know, we can say, yeah, you know, Jeb flying a flag makes me offended. And I can understand why. Right. 100%.
Yeah.
But I was told once by a really smart guy, pick your battles.
Yeah, you have to. You have to, you know.
So do I want to exhaust my fight with somebody that's not going to change their mind?
Yeah. Some people...
Or do I want to start thinking deeper and, you know what? Let's beat them at their fucking game.
I think like this. This is how I am. If you feel that you want to have your flag up and express how you feel, that's on you. But I appreciate you doing that to let me know where you stand, so I can sit there and see you in your true light, so I can know. Thank you. You know.
And so I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to. One of the greatest things that I learned was my skin color gave me a unique advantage in situations like that.
Right.
Okay. And I'll give you an example. When I first got to Georgia, and so when I left Toronto, I lived in the Bay Area for about 3 years, 2.5 years.
Right.
And I had mentioned that on an earlier podcast because that's when hip hop was just exploding all over the place. And
frick it.
And when I was moving to Georgia, all of my friends out there were like, "Oh, you're not going to like the South. You're not going to like it. It's racist as shit and all this." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You're not that dude. You're not going to like it." And I was like, "All right." So I moved here, and this is in '93, where when you drove up 400 and you got right around Cumming, Georgia, I actually saw a whites only sign on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
93.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't at the time. And I think because of the way I grew up, you know, racial issues really bothered me. I'm a very empathetic person. So like when I was in school, like I had to do a project about Hitler and you know what happened to the Jews, and I'm telling you, it like fucked me up.
Yeah.
Like how I can't, I've never seen Schindler's List. I won't watch it. I can't.
Yeah.
Because I cry through the whole thing.
Yeah.
American History X. You know, when I watched that, I got so mad. I realized that I had been clinching, and I cut into my hands with my fingernails because, I can't. Like, shit like that just bothers me so fucking much, right? So, I get a job, and I'm working, and it's myself and 3 other white people standing around talking for a moment, and this one guy. And I think we've talked about this before, but racists do a tell to other white people when they're about to be racist. They don't know they're doing it because, you know, a tell normally isn't something telegraphed. It's just something that you do inherently. So the tell is, the other day I was talking to this, and he busts out the N-word.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of my reaction, but
right.
I hit him.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I don't know that I had ever been confronted. Like it's weird. Like I'm familiar with the word. I, listen to hip hop and all that kind of stuff. I just wasn't used to hearing people say it in that manner. You know what I mean? Like, there's racism everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's different in the South on multiple levels.
Right.
So I learned very quickly that in a group of 4 white guys, people will say some pretty loud shit, right? And I wasn't expecting that. But I learned that, it absolutely lets me know.
Yeah.
Not somebody I need to associate with.
Exactly.
fuck around and end up at a Klan meeting accidentally, and then how do you back out of that shit? Like, fuck y'all.
I'm telling you, yeah. I mean,
oh, we gonna lynch him too. Woo-hoo. Yeah.
Yeah, Jasper, get the truck.
So, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I'd rather know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, and more so just in general, I always felt that, yeah, other people shouldn't say that word, but, you know, just as a black male, I think honestly, the change always starts from us first. And there's another reason why I say that, because we're one of the most cultures that has been mimicked in certain forms. So if the world mimics what we do, listen,
you guys are cool. What can I say?
Yeah. But if the world mimics what we do, but if we start treating each other better first, the world will notice and
100%.
change with it too.
100%.
And this is something that I've been trying to tell people, like, hey, it starts with us first. Once again, you said pick and choose your battles. We have to start with ours first, within us first, as a community, as a whole race. Then once they see us, like, okay, they're respecting each other, we have to give them the respect that they always deserve. And that's where it needs to start at. I mean, and that's just...
No, that's a great point.
You know, I mean, and if you think about it, even my parents said more so in the 60s and 70s, they were more together as far as in just black people being together and looking out for each other. Oh, damn it. No, not Maul.
Oh, man. You got so upset. Maul dropped out.
Yeah. But see, I got your back. Says you black, right? You black, we black. I got you. Now, but in the 60s and 70s,
played by a white actor. They're gonna cancel Maul. They're gonna cancel Maul.
They do Maul. I'm sorry. I'm coming to Stu. I'm gonna find George Lucas myself. Like, God damn it! I know you don't have much power in this anymore, but you gonna fix this shit today. No, but in general, I mean, the 60s and 70s, they were more so together then and looking out for each other then. And certain things happen, as far as in government changing certain things and starting to divide, you know. But in general, if we can stick together then and do it now and show the world that, they'll give us the respect that is well deserved. See, I think in general they think that, hey, if we was to come together, they think we're trying to take things over. We don't want to take anything over. We just want the same equal opportunity as anybody else and to be respected just like any other race in the world. That's all we want.
A really great friend of mine, Lisa, who I worked with, she's been vocal since all of this started.
Right.
And she's one of the most sincere people that I've ever met. And from the moment that I met her, I could tell she was just one of those people that takes people for people.
Mm-hmm.
And she's such a happy soul, and she's like a loving person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's made some posts lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I can feel the anger and the pain in her posts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I and like it makes me upset, like emotional.
Yeah.
That for several reasons, that somebody that's so sweet and so wonderful feels that way is upsetting to me.
Right.
The fact that I wouldn't know that except for recently is telling of how strong she is, but also says so much about how people of color have to hide their feelings in a lot of ways.
Right.
And when you stifle things like that, when you sublimate them and push them down, they get so much worse.
Right.
And so we wonder why we've hit a boiling point and everything's spilling over right now. You know, you can only smile and put on that face so many times.
So long. Yeah.
and my heart breaks for her, as it does for you and everybody else that's experienced these things. And you know, I've been researching a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I always felt like, and I may have said this last week, I don't know, but I always felt like I was somebody that was pretty well informed. You know, I went to school in Canada, and our school system, we used to teach a lot. It's not that we don't rewrite history like everybody does. Yeah. But you don't rewrite anybody else's history as much. So in learning about the United States and things like that, we got a pretty good dose. And that early Canada was heavily involved in trying to, you know, help free slaves and the Underground Railroad and things like that. So, you know, we got a pretty good perspective on it. But when, you know, the Tulsa thing came up, like I said, I had known about it, the Tulsa massacre. But I didn't know, like, no. Yeah. And then, you know, now I'm going through these rabbit holes where, okay, so what other massacres have we not been told about? And you had mentioned the Wall Street. Yeah. You know. Yeah. You know, so it's great that the movement is doing what it is for awareness. And I hope that everybody kind of takes a moment to just understand there's a difference between being right and being compassionate. So, you know, I'm one of those, I don't think any word is harmful in context. And even that word. Yeah. Because it's used in positive connotations now,
as
and
an
it's been
expression
taken that way, right? Okay. But, and I'm not one for banning language. I think making the word illegal would be anti-American. But it doesn't mean it's not insensitive if you're using it and you're not a person of color. Right. Right? So, you know, it's, I just feel like when people, you know, say that all lives matter, and they get really upset with people, well, you're being racist because you say Black Lives Matter. And it's unfortunate because those people are missing the point entirely. Yeah. And you know, people will try to point it out to them, and they want to kind of stick to the ethics of all lives means everybody, and I'm being all inclusive. Yeah. I'm being the least racist in this situation. That is true. Yeah. That's 100% true. But you're also being the most insensitive in this situation. Because it doesn't hurt you that if you honestly feel that all lives matter, well, that means that Black lives are included in that, right? Exactly. Okay, so I can say that white lives matter. I can say that Asian lives matter. I can say Latino lives matter. And I can say that Black lives matter. Yes. If I can say all those things at this moment, why can't I just say Black lives matter? Right. I'm not saying the other lives don't matter. Right. But I'm saying I need to focus right now because we've made it pretty clear, not we meaning me. Right. I've never gone out and police abused anybody. I've never in anger said anything racist to anybody in my life. Right. I'm not saying I haven't said the N-word before, you know. Right. I will tell you, I had a really bad habit of doing it when I was rapping. Yeah. Not my own raps. I wasn't writing it, okay? But,
I understand.
But Tupac throws that shit in there all the time. Yeah. And
we've had this talk about far as the same quotes to songs and movies.
But still.
Yeah. But you can't
but I'm just sensitive enough that I've started trying to put ginger in there instead. Yeah. Is that wrong of me?
I don't know. Ginger beard? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
But anyway, so, you know, I just wish people were a little bit more open to be sensitive to other people. Because that's really, that's what we need most on a grand scale is just to be nicer to each other. I mean, just fucking drop the ego for 2 fucking minutes and just understand that people are hurting. And it doesn't mean that you've had, an elitist lifestyle. It doesn't mean that you're part of the 1%. It just means that you were born different, and in large part, that's been a benefit more than it's been a detraction, whereas other people have been born and it was more of a detraction than it was a benefit. And that's unfortunate, and there's something you can do about it. Yeah. You can give a shit.
Yeah, my thing is support the cause. This is not about just this incident. This is over 400 years of things that's been happening to just, forests and black people. This is all of these things. And we've been trying to get equal opportunity for so long. At one point, we had to do so much just to prove that we were just human beings. Before we even were looked at as, that you're a person. But this is all of these things. And unfortunately, this is a fight that has been going on, that's been repeating itself years and years and years. And it's like, we've come too far as just a nation, as a country, as a world in general, and have come together on certain things and have done great things when we come together and accomplish so much.
Yep. But
we're still divided. And that's where it's very sad.
We're not going to be able to win this apart. We can't.
We can't. It just doesn't happen like that. And then far as in with this whole thing with the police, it's just you gotta take more time to just kind of, whoever you want to hire, hey, you need 2 or 3 more years of training. You need, as far as in our psych or testing, before you can even be accepted in. That's where it comes down to. Having incidents like that happen, even when I was 16, 17 years old in high school, and I was, playing football, and I would, like, me and my friend one day, we were driving, and I had my hair, I had fro, and I had it all out, and police got behind me. Yeah, I had a fro, yeah. Police got behind me, pulled me over, and I had some of my work clothes in the back. I worked at McDonald's. That was like my first job. But he was sitting on the freaking hat, and the police walks up, license, registration, and I'm like, cool. My friend, he's moving because he's like, I can't take this anymore. And he goes and pulls the hat. And when he pulls the hat, the police draws a gun on me. Mm-hmm. And he's like, don't move. And I'm like, I'm not even moving. He's in the back seat.
Yeah.
Because the reason why he was in the back seat, because
you're drawing on me. If he had a gun, he would have shot you.
The car had at that time, the passenger door wasn't open. Like, this is like a '91 Nissan Sentra.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was handed down.
Quality. Yeah, quality car.
Good quality car. Good small car. Yeah. Like most everybody who want to get another side, they Duke and Hazard. I'm hopping in.
Nice.
Yeah, but in general, I got a gun pulled on me just for, what I'm saying? And I didn't even move. I was the one that moved, but I got,
Yeah, that's fucked up.
We had to get out I had to get out of the car. He had to get out of the car.
That's just bad police work.
They just went and there's like, you got anything? They patted him and he was like, no. Me, they turned to slant me on the car. I'm sitting there like, what the hell? But once again, this is just my situation. Now picture other people. Somebody in front of a store, they're just trying to sell CDs. They're just trying to make some money.
Cigarettes.
Or anything like that.
Dude in New York was killed because he was selling Lucy's.
It's selling Lucy's. But in general,
what the fuck?
Exactly. But this is just one tier of a situation that's going on. And at the same time, we just want equal opportunity to be accepted. Hey, I'm walking up and down the street. Okay, police come up on me. Hey, where are you going? Blah, 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 blah. We see you walking on the street 4 or 5 times. What's going on? Tell them, hey, this is what's going on. I live in this area. Okay, sir, have a nice day. It shouldn't be to where are you going? Get out, blah, 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 blah. You look, it shouldn't be that, But in general, once again, when you have been looked at for so many years or other people have programmed other races to believe that, hey, this black person is dangerous. Mm-hmm. They're this type of person, and they'll hurt you. But the question is really, look what your race has been doing for years. The things you're saying about us is really who you have been all this time.
I think some people, and it's impossible to fully understand somebody's mentality.
Yeah.
Unless you've experienced it yourself.
Right.
So I'll never fully understand, but I do know that when you live in a nice neighborhood as a black man,
yeah,
you instinctively know I can't go jogging in my neighborhood with a hoodie on.
Hell no.
I have to jog with my kids.
Yeah.
So that people feel non-threatened.
Yeah.
By somebody who's worked hard, earned a right to live in that neighborhood, in that home, and yet because of perception, because of systemic racism, this person has to think about, and that's just one minor thought in a day.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, what time do you jog?
Yeah.
Well, I probably want to jog in the bright daylight. So someone recognizes that I actually live there and I'm their neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Because Betsy doesn't see so well at night, and she's real prone to call the cops on me. It's happened 6 times before.
Yeah. I mean, this is what it goes through, you know?
Anyway.
But, I know, right?
We've been getting so, like, you know, obviously these aren't planned. And when we started the podcast, we didn't really want to have a certain topic. We knew we were going to talk about comics and movies and nerdy stuff and stuff like that.
But what the world does, I mean, with so much going on, we cannot like bypass it and not speak on it. It has to be spoken on, you know.
I'm not unhappy about the fact that we've, in most of our recent episodes, been fairly political. Yeah, you know, neither of us are political experts.
I'm not.
You know, social experts either. I couldn't, you know, I have my own view and understanding on how people operate, but that's still a jaded view on my personal perception and experience, right?
Yeah.
You know, but I will say that it's been kind of therapeutic and good for me to kind of get some of the stuff off my chest.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I worry sometimes that, you know, I'm going to come off as, you know, virtual signaling white person or this and that. I would say this, I credit you because you and I have always had this kind of rapport where we could talk really openly about stuff. And so I think that's why I kind of feel comfortable doing that here.
Yeah.
And I mean, if somebody wants to say that I'm just saying it so that people don't know that I'm a racist, well, then you just don't know me. So
yeah, I mean, I've always been, you know, one thing about it, like my mom has raised me as far as in biblical background and stuff like that. And I've always kind of been one of those persons where you don't judge somebody else, you judge yourself.
Right.
And then at the same time, just because somebody looks some kind of way, get to know them. Because you'll find out you have certain things that are in common. Like, we play video games. We talk about Star Wars. Like I said, we do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have certain things that are in common. And then certain things will surprise you. Like, I didn't know this was a talented motherfucker over here. I never knew that. And then I was like, oh shit. And now when he's like shows me something, hey Ken, I did this. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay. It's more than okay. He's like a fucking parent. This is the fucking next thing since Van Gogh.
No. Okay, look. Ken has difficulty with rating levels. So don't you be pointing this. I'm editing this. I'm gonna cut all that out. Look at you. But he does. So you'll do something and he'll go, wow, that's really good. Now he'll say it like that, like, yeah, that's really good. Not, hey, that's really good. It's really good. And like, it could be a piece of shit on the floor. Oh, that's really good. Or it could be like some food. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I am.
Or it could be like an edit or like the intro music that I did for it. And I'm like, you know, what do you think? Is it too just? No, it's really good.
It is. It was good.
Yeah, like, but when really good is the only answer that you give, it almost seems like you haven't really ever given anything. Well, it's kind of like when people come up to you and they go, hey, how you doing? You go, fine. What the fuck is fine?
What?
Fucking fine. You just fined me. That's what you did.
Well,
every time you really, really good me, it's now just fine. It's fine.
I don't feel bad. A girl had told me like she liked me and she wanted to have sex, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Like I've done that.
That's different. You have to be aloof with women, or else they think you're needy.
No, and even afterwards, I was just like okay, basics. It's cool. But in general,
like, you do?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
It's not going to get you anywhere. She's going to change your mind really fucking fast.
Yeah. Or we go. But anyway,
why don't you just say, "I'm feeling
fingery." But I've always been that way. Like I don't try to get too hyped up over stuff, and I don't try to get too like.
My brother Michael's like that.
Yeah,
he's like one of those. You could get him like a brand new BMW, and he'd go, "That's really cool."
Yeah,
he'd be like, "Are you fucking dude? Come on."
Because I used to get hyped up for stuff, and either stuff didn't happen or it didn't go the way I wanted to, and then I'd be really let down, and I'd be like the hurt. In the movie, how the white girl gets cheated on, and she runs out in the rain by herself. She's hurt and shit. That's me, like inside. Like I'd be like, oh shit.
You're a white girl running in the rain.
Yeah, just oh my god, Toby, you cheated, and run off and shit. But
she dated Toby, huh?
Yeah, damn it, Toby. That's right.
Toby will fuck around on you. You got to watch out.
Word. But in general, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But in general, I don't try to get too like excited or get like too happy. My mom, trust me, my mom even like, you should be happy, you should be this, that, and the third. But we all like kind of just, I kind of do the same thing. Okay, here he goes. Go ahead, go ahead, let it out.
So mom and dad found out.
Yes, everybody, mom and dad found out about the podcast.
Okay.
I will tell you how this happened.
Okay. I'm ready.
Remember we changed the profile pics on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My mom, she doesn't have her name up there, but she put a message under my picture. I don't understand. My sister puts LOL like she's laughing out loud, like, ha, ha, ha. You don't. So I was like, to get you to understand, I just need you to go to YouTube and type in "literally with Ken and Karl."
That's literally.
And she does, and she's like, oh, okay. So next thing you know, I talked to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, he goes, "Oh, you're gonna be a fucking movie star, huh?" And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just like, yeah. So we are shooting again. I said we shoot like once every week, and we always have one that we do previously beforehand, and at the same time it gives space for editing and everything like that.
Right.
And that is a part of the process, people. That's even TV. They do the same thing too. That's the reason why you have to wait every week. The editing, everything, all that comes into play. Just
I've gotten good, but it still takes some time.
Yeah, I'm still learning off of him.
I mean, if you wanted quality, I could cut this shit in like 20 minutes and it'd look like dog shit. It'd just be like me the whole time. Yeah. And you'd hear Ken off into the distance there.
Yeah.
Just kind of like this, because now when I edit it, I'm going to edit it like specifically so you won't see Ken. And
then now yell out, "Fuck you." So
yeah, see, it'll still be on me. That's why I'm still looking at you.
Now, but he found out, he was like, and here's the shocking thing, and I was telling him about the podcast. Yeah, we sit there, we talk about everything, blah blah. He was like, "You ain't talking about no shit that'll get me in jail, will you?" I was like, no.
I think the statute of limitations is up on those.
Yeah,
and the child abuse only goes 7 years or something.
Yeah, it's like it's over. I'm like, you surpassed.
The damage is done.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do?
Yeah, and he was like, but I was telling him like, hey, we talk about a little bit of everything, that goes on, and our previous past and stuff like that. And he was like, that's pretty cool. I was just like, oh shit, he said pretty cool.
A little support from dad.
He was watching a little bit. He hasn't watched everything yet.
So he hasn't seen Grandma.
Oh man, I'm trying to get him to hurry up and get that.
Is it Elma?
Because
Grandma Elma.
I want him to see that, because if he says go ahead, that's the approval.
Which you need his approval?
Yeah,
I already started working on scripts.
It's a respect thing. Far as
No,
from my
how
grandma.
are you today?
I'm doing fine. What you doing, baby?
No, I was watching that Chipper Jones. He's just such a great baseball player. I wish he hadn't retired. He was fantastic.
Oh, I was watching Chips. Yeah, that's a good show. The Policeman.
No, that Bob. I mean Eric Estrada. He's so good.
Oh, the one with the nice ass.
Yeah, I mean, what? No.
It's nice.
Did I tell you I had a ham sandwich yesterday? It was delicious.
Did you have cheese on it?
Yeah, I had mustard and cheese.
That's good. That's good.
I sing a song about it. I like the mustard with the ham and cheese. I love it so much, brings me to my knees.
Baby, you can't sing. Don't do that shit. Jesus
I was
don't
on
want to
Broadway
that.
once. You don't know.
No, don't do that, baby. No, stick to what you know how to do.
I'm telling you.
No, let Tom Jones sing. Don't you do that shit. Yeah. So that was just a sample of my grandma. If y'all didn't see the last couple episodes, episode 6, you can go back and watch it.
That's the weird thing when you're looking at the YouTube views. Like they're watching the episodes.
Yeah. It's
not like the newest ones that come out are getting the most views. They're getting views, which is really cool.
Yeah, I looked at the clip, the clip of episode 5, and I was doing the Mike Tyson. I was like, y'all ready to watch me just sit there and do that shit? And I was like, okay.
You were getting comments on it.
Yeah. I try to perfect like my voice, so I try to pick somebody.
I think that was Dwight that was making the comment.
Yeah. I was just like, oh shit. I was like, okay. I try to learn different voices and stuff because I was like watching this one clip of like Ari Spears, and I could already do like other people's voices, but the way he explained how he did it, I was like, wow, let me see if I can start doing that. The way he would match voices and stuff.
Well, and you are a fan of Jim Carrey.
Always.
Robin Williams.
Always.
Jonathan Winters.
Man, all of them.
All three of them fantastic impressionists, right?
Man, great.
So that's what I was telling Dwight when we were talking about it the other day, because he had come to pick up his ARC reactor.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of talking about the podcast a little bit. And he was like, yeah, I don't know where he comes up with all those voices. And I said, well, he's got stand-up experience.
Yeah.
But, his stand-up idols were impressionists.
Yeah, I mean, I love the impressions, but at the same time, I always, like I said, those old days of comedy, like, don't get me wrong, you're always going to get great comments to come out. There's always going to be that. But there's certain people that came in their era and time that surpass even the new, because they were so much like George Carlin, like to have a whole way of doing it, the whole setup, and everything ties in from start to finish, and it flows. You can tell that's somebody who truly has structure, and is funny and will just keep going. You don't get like a lot of people to do that. It's very seldomly they come along like that and do it well. Right. Like even when you watch Dave Chappelle, watch old Dave Chappelle to now, you see him develop into that.
Yeah. Yeah. He, I think he was always pretty good at a callback, but now, there's been this development of bringing this kind of flow to a show to where in pockets you're kind of touching back to different things and you're tying the whole show together almost like you're weaving a basket. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think, and it's one of the things that when I watch certain stand-ups, Louis C.K. Can do those kind of things. Yeah. There are a lot of different comics that I really dig when they kind of tie that stuff back around and you hit. And I think the point of that is when an audience member walks out, you want to leave them with the killer joke that you just dropped that has a tie into the beginning of the show to make you start going back through the whole act again. Yeah. And that's where that conversation happens. And then the next morning at the water cooler and you're
like, Dave Chappelle, the one where he did here in Atlanta, the Tabernacle that was on Netflix. When he starts out singing a tribute by singing Prince. But the way he was singing
stand-up specials ever.
It ties into what he's talking about, and he keeps going. And it's just like, you really thought this out you know, and then he goes back and he just keeps going. But in general, that's
one of the greatest intros too, because he starts out with 2 impressions.
Yeah.
And the second impression, when he turns around and says, "That was you.
That's you.
Y'all the worst fuckers ever."
I mean, yeah. I mean, because
oh shit, I fucking died.
People don't understand why the reason why comedy is why a lot of comics are walking away from it. If you look at the early stages of comedy, I mean, well, not even the stages, but years back, when you guys are pointing your finger at this comic, a lot of great comics that we look at would not make it now, because they would be so getting tired of people just, oh, you said this, you said this, you said that. Like, one of the ones who like pretty much died while he was getting ready to rise to fame, Robin Harris. Robin Harris would talk shit to people like when they were getting up and walk out his shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't do that now. Like, you can do it, but it's gonna be a lot of backlash now.
Patrice.
Yeah.
Patrice used to piss people off on purpose.
Man. I'm Butch Nasty.
Yeah, but his crowd work was fantastic.
Yeah.
But, you know, it stems back, and I think you're going to hit these points. I think, you know, all things are kind of cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hit these points where comedians start fighting back.
Oh, yeah. They're going to go.
You know, not everybody's going to know, but Lenny Bruce used to get arrested for what he would say on stage.
Yeah.
And knowing he was going to get arrested as soon as he said it, but he would hammer the joke out anyway.
Yeah.
And he paved the way for George Carlin and Richard Pryor and people being able to use wordplay the way they do.
Yeah, Pryor's my dude. Like, Pryor, like even though I like Red Fox better in some forms.
And Red Fox was super talented.
But
I'm
a lot
not
of
hate
people,
on you for that.
When we speak about this whole Black Lives Matter, this, that, and the third, a lot of people need to go back and watch Richard Pryor on the Sunset Strip when he talks about how he went to Africa, because he used to use the N-word more than anybody else in comedy. But once he went there and saw the people and something spoke to him and said, "What do you see?" He's like, "I see black people, but you don't see no ends, do you?" It changed his life forever. So if somebody who uses the word that strong could change their whole perspective of how they see their own people, why can't we do it every day over here?
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
That's the question. That's just a food for thought, you know. But in general, comedy in general, I like I said, it's certain people I always looked at, like I said, punchliners, Rodney Dangerfield, just I get no respect. Him, he's a great dude. He is great for his one-liners. Like, he just punch you so hard and keep moving, But overall, man, it's the old heads. They all have done something. They've left a mark that was so strong to make people come along and go, man, I gotta be better. And that's even in form of music. A lot of people don't understand why Prince was so good, because his father was already a jazz musician. His mother was already a singer, a jazz singer, I believe.
Yeah.
But while you're young and you're coming up, you're listening to the Hendrix, the Claptons. You listen to these great people, and at the same time, you got to go, man, this is amazing. So now you're young, you got to say, how can I be better than them?
Right.
So you got to work 3 or 4 times as hard just to even be accepted, to say you're even in the conversation.
Right.
And that's why you got great people in every form of entertainment, because they work that hard, or they have that it factor that takes them to that level.
So there again, that's one of those things where technology has kind of detracted. Okay. And, again, I'm going to say this, with us producing a podcast with 1 million other podcasts going on right now.
Yeah.
Right. I think they've hit 1 million.
Huge amounts.
So,
but
you don't have to have talent to get out there.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're talking about Hendrix, when you're talking about Prince, when you're talking about Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, bands like, Parliament Funkadelic and Earth, Wind and Fire, and any of these things. And it doesn't even have to be that. It can be, other forms of music. But, to get to that level, you had to be special.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had to have more than
something.
just what you were bringing to that.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have extra stuff in the bag, right? Because, like even with television, back in the 40s and 50s, all of those people could sing, could dance, could play instruments. Acting was just a part of what they did.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get into show business unless you could do all of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to have a look, but you had to have all those other things.
Yeah, you had to bring something else to the table.
We're in an era where Megan Fox had an acting career.
Yeah, that's the thing now that a lot of people don't understand is that in this day and age now, she was fired now. Let's not take it away from her now. She was fired. But if you're not going to come and get into that industry, if you don't try to evolve yourself, it's gonna run away from you.
Yeah, but people will take a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
they're fine with that.
They'll take it.
Give me my 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the weird things about this. Like I didn't start playing drums because I wanted to be in a band. I started playing drums because I've always loved drums. I just, like as a kid, I would sit and watch like Phil Collins and shit.
Oh man.
And Neil Peart and these amazing drummers and stuff. And so, but we did shows and we played, but it was never about being the center of attention.
Right.
I've never, none of this. I don't care if I ever get recognized on the street. I was doing this more. I've wanted to do a podcast because I love the technology and the challenge of kind of creating things.
Right.
And, like you do a lot of impressions. I've always done a lot of different voices. I always kind of wanted to get into voice acting.
Yeah.
At some point. If I can get into voice acting, that would be cool.
I would love to try it. It's just.
So I thought podcasting would be a really good way of kind of really getting comfortable on a microphone.
Yeah.
And when we started hanging out at work and talking a lot, it just made sense to me that like this should be a fucking podcast because our conversations are so funny and so interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously translating because people are watching it, which is cool.
Thank you. Seriously.
Yeah. Like seriously. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I have no desire to be famous.
Yeah. I'm
at all.
For me, this is more so like, I was like, okay, I'll do it. Like when you kept asking me like, man, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And the next time I was like, I'll do it. And the next thing you come like, yeah, Ken, I've ordered like all the stuff it's coming next week. Like shit. That's how excited he was. But me more so, it's like, you know what? I'll try something new. And at the same time, it's like, man, I didn't know it took all of this just to do a podcast. And not only do a podcast, but to do it right.
Yeah, I think we started out of the gate, like I did just enough research to really kind of understand what it was going to take. I had a fair amount of equipment. We probably could have done a podcast audio wise.
Yeah.
Without me having to buy anything. Mm-hmm. But, when I started thinking about doing a podcast and the podcasts that I really like tend to be on YouTube and have a video quality to it because you can show different things, and podcasts can be anything. Like I've got plans. I've been kind of tight for time and learning the editing stuff.
Yeah,
that's taken some time, but I plan on doing bits. I plan on filming stuff outside of this.
It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, like coming. We can do anything because it's our channel. Joe Rogan had Bill Burr on, and they were talking about podcasting and how there's all this need for companies and stuff to try to muscle in and trick comedians and different people into getting podcasts that they own the rights to. When I say it's just us, I mean
that's it.
The theme song.
That's him. He did all that.
The recording, the editing, the set.
The way we tagline each other in the beginning, hey,
that was all organic.
That's organic. That's just us doing what we do.
Yeah. And when we literally have no plan, we literally have no plan.
Literally.
And so when we were editing the second one, I think is the first time we kind of did that. You already know.
You already know.
And I looked at you and I was like, oh, that's got to stay. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You came up with a tagline on our second episode.
Yeah. We just said that's what we do. I mean, it's just all of this is natural. It's nothing to where we sit there and go, okay, you can read this. The only thing that was scripted was that bullshit for that damn promo. God damn it.
I think we're almost due for another set of promos. I mean, we've been doing some promos for some friends, which is really cool.
Yeah. Which once again, please, Hazy Nut, www.hazynut.com. Please check that out. Definitely.
And your friends?
Yeah, definitely. Check out the veterinarian. Royal, man, I'm horrible. It's Royal Paws and Purrs.
Right, Royal Paws and Purrs.
Royal Paws and Purrs. I mean, that's all you have to do. Go there, check them out. I mean, we advertise for people because at the same time, for us, it's good for us to get better at it. And at the same time, we're kind of one of those people where, hey, we want to see other people succeed. It shouldn't always be, oh, this major corporation or, think about it. We got all these props up here and major corporations own them. Like, and we're still advertising for them.
I made that.
But he made that. And another thing that I go, pretty good. But anyway.
Asshole.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
That's right. I'm an asshole too, people. But in general, I mean, at the same time, we try to, advertise for other people. But at the same time, it's helping us to be better. And at the same time, we want you to advertise because when we help you, you help us. It goes hand in hand. This is something that businesses do on an everyday basis with each other. It's just that the people, they're so blinded that they don't see it.
Yeah. So basically that means if you're enjoying these videos or our audio podcast, share them. Share them with some friends. Word of mouth is how podcasts spread.
That's it.
I said before, this doesn't cost us anything to sit here and do these, so we'll keep doing them.
Nothing but
because
time.
We're getting great response and I love it. But I wouldn't mind it to grow and become something really big, which would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So share it, like, subscribe. It's funny. Our Facebook has over 100 some odd followers.
Yeah.
And yet we're only at 63 on YouTube. So some people aren't tuning into the YouTube.
Some people are looking at it and just they're watching it.
They don't have to, but they should.
They're not subscribing to it, and it is cool. But my thing is, in general, I do want to see it grow. Because at the end of the day, anything you do, you want to go, okay, let me see how far I can take it, or or put your best foot forward and say, hey, I'll try this, and this, and that's also learning how to do that on a daily basis.
And the less we need day jobs, the more time we have to make content.
Yeah, then you can hear all the stuff. You could hear us talking shit, mimicking people. Like one day I plan on getting a Dr. Seuss book and reading like Arnold Schwarzenegger for you guys.
I could create all those golf videos I've been looking for. Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh, God.
He steps up to the 9th green. He takes a casual look. It seems a bit sloped to the left.
A bit sloped.
Wait, that's his shoe. I didn't realize he had a club foot.
Oh, God.
He's lined up the shot. Ooh, he's not going to be happy with that.
I thought about this. Like, we sit here and we do these impressions of people and stuff, and you kind of think the way their voices are, it's like, you're supposed to be in this because anything else, you failed in life if you was like, Randy Savage trying to be a school teacher. Oh yeah, today we're going to talk about the ABCs. Oh yeah. And they'll be like, the dean walk by, Randy, don't yell at the children. Don't tell me to yell. This is my regular voice. Yeah. And then just like, shit. You'd be like, shit. But, certain people you got to think about it like that. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the reason why we accept him is because of the fact of who he is. Yeah. But him is
Arnold the librarian is not going to work very good.
Today, you're late on your book.
I told you to be quiet.
That's right. Quiet down. Now. Now, don't you yell at me. Now. I'll get you out right now. Please bring back the Cat in the Hat book. I like it when the part about the cat meow.
The do-it-decimal system.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
You've got to get the catalog.
Yeah,
Go to the card catalog. You find the book.
Yeah, or he being like just somebody who owns a machine or like a gas station or something, and he just be like, you didn't pump your gas. You get your change back. Everybody, get your change now. You sir, put the cookie down.
Family counselor.
Oh God! You need to talk to your son.
He's not
gay.
expressing yourself.
He's gay, but you have to love him regardless. That's your child.
I want to see you hug.
He looks just like you. That means you're gay. That's right.
He learned it from watching you.
He caught you. He caught you feeling fingery. That's right.
So then that's a callback right there. So I think we've hit our feeling fingery limit. Well, shit. Now I've said it. We've gone over the limit. We got to call the podcast now.
Okay.
We're gonna have to call it.
We're done. We're done. But once again, everybody, like, comment, subscribe. Please share it. Tell everybody about it. We're open to all comments. I mean, at the end of the day, we want people's opinions, good, bad. Like I said, we appreciate it all.
Yeah, definitely. I also put some hashtags up. So if anybody wants to hashtag Carl's an asshole, or
even his sister had a comment saying
fingery.
Yeah, and she even said something about you, like, you should make an episode about shit. I was like, Jesus.
Well, that's because I send her pictures of my poo a lot.
Family.
Yeah. That'll be for another story. I'll tell you about the banana box.
Yeah.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Jesus Christ. The banana box.